Okay, so it occurs to me that I brought up something today that I didn't really properly explain. Um, I guess it didn't even occur to me that it would be interesting. But I was talking about how 2017-ish, I was put in a mental ward. It was just for one night. It wasn't like a big, drawn out process. It was just I sat in a room. There were recliners. There were probably about 10 recliners. You know, back to in a row, back to back, and they were facing big screen TVs, and over, on the other side were 10 beds. I sat in a recliner all night and watched Turner Classic Movies or something. I was the only one there, and it was just two nurses. I talked to a psychiatrist over Zoom or whatever. They adjusted my Zoloft dose, um, but that it was just a one night thing. But the story is, I mean, I had depression. You can say that it was because of certain things in my childhood, or it's a chemical imbalance, whatever. I was put on Zoloft, and I had been taking it for about a year. Uh, I had gone to the doctor, and I had started trying to take care of myself, and so I was taking Zoloft, and I was also prescribed that because it helped with anxiety, which I had a lot of. Um, but it stopped working after about a year, and I was at my job, my old job, which, by the way, I hated. It was a bad job with bad people, and I worked there for like 14 years, and I should have left a long time ago. I worked so hard to get promoted, and they just never would. I did everything they told me to do, and they treated me bad. They talked down to me. The pandemic was a really good thing to happen to me because it got me out of that job and into my current one, which I love. But I was there one morning, and it was a very light morning, and I don't like light work days. I like to be busy. I prefer being busy um, over being slow, because then you have to fill the time, and it's awful. Um, and I'm just looking at this work, and like, this. Am I gonna have to just go slow all day? And it wasn't the work. It wasn't anything to do with my job. I was depressed, and the pills had stopped working, and I was in a place I hated, and there were things going on with this apartment. Um, it was in the. I don't think it was yet on the market. I think it was on the market, but there wasn't. It wasn't um, close to being sold yet, and the previous owner wanted to clear it out, so she wanted us out. Um, and that it wasn't that either. Uh, I was just depressed. It was a bad time, and so I broke down at work, and um, I went to urgent care with someone. I think my mom still lived in town then, in the house I grew up in, and so I think she took me, and they um, sent me to no maybe I went to the ER. It doesn't matter. The sequence of events: I went to see somebody. They heard suicidal ideation. They moved me by ambulance to where I was that for the one night. Um, and I just explained everything to everybody who asked. I had everything taken off me, and I was just in a gown, not quite a surgical gown because I think it did close, but it wasn't much more than that. I didn't get to shower, and I was only there for a night, so there were no visitors. They let me go the next morning. My mom came pick me up. She took me here home to take a shower, and then she took me to her house so I wouldn't be alone. um, and my Zoloft got adjusted. Uh, and then, to draw that story out a little further, during the pandemic, I was not, I was unemployed for most of it, and I had a lot of time to do a lot of work on myself that I had not previously had time to do. Um, a lot of emotional stuff, a lot of trauma stuff, and I liken it to this. I say that my brain is like a long hallway full of rooms on each side, like maybe even like a military looking place, very sterile. But each room, some rooms are neat as a pin where you know where everything is, and some rooms are kind of a mess. And you sort of leave those doors closed. You don't deal with those rooms. You're just like, I don't have time for this right now, so we'll just lock it, and you know, and I took time mostly at night. I would have edibles, um, and I would do the work. I'd confront these things. And the way my mind works is if I can confront it, if I can put words to it, I can fight it and understand it. And once I understand it, it's just learning to deal with it. So my doctor, my old PCP, I told her, I hadn't needed to take my Zoloft during the pandemic, and that I was totally fine. And so in my chart, she put that I'm in complete remission from major depressive disorder. Now, whether or not that's real, that's a real, if it's possible to be in remission from depression, that's what my medical file says. So that's nice. It's nice that that's possible. And, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, I'm some kind of superhero or anything. I just had the time that I'd always wanted. I just wanted some time. And once I got it, I did it. And then I started work in May 2021. I knew that unemployment was going to run out in September. And so I didn't want to wait around. I wanted to get a job ASAP. And thankfully I knew someone who worked at this place, and she recommended me, and here I am. I've had to put some future plans on hold for now, but I'm still in a job that I really like with people I really like, and I'm grateful every day for it. But yeah, that's expanding on the story with the night in the mental ward. I didn't mean to drop it in like it was nothing. It just, I've talked about it to doctors so often recently that it's just like, oh yeah, somebody else doesn't know about it. I thought everybody knew that. It's all I talk about whenever I'm at UCLA and stuff. So anyway, because that's when the weight loss started. So that's like where we start. So yeah. So apologies for kind of not doing a very good job of explaining, and thank you for watching.